So I am, my name's Anne Brown, and I am an introvert. I'm sensitive, and yeah, I've had quite a few dramatic life changes happen to me over the years. Yeah, and I think that's why I offered to run this session on dealing with change, because I know that I know how traumatic and difficult change can be to deal with. So in terms of myself, lots of people dying. So my mum died when I was a child, and the most life-changing, I think, in my adult life was back in 2002. I had a baby, so wonderful new baby with my husband. And then a few months later, he died suddenly. And that left me in a very difficult place. It took me several years to come to terms with the shock of that. And it was in June 2007, I decided to retrain. I knew I needed to sort myself out, and I needed some personal development work, and I decided to retrain in NLP and coaching. And for those of you who don't know anything about NLP, it stands for neuro-linguistic programming, and it's a set of tools and techniques to enable you to analyze and change the way you see yourself and what's possible for you in a very brief sort of nutshell. That's how I see it. So NLP gave me the tools to deal with the various traumas that had happened in my life, and I learned how to apply them to help other people. And that's why now, several years later, I specialize in helping sensitive, intuitive women in business who struggle with confidence and visibility. So I agreed or offered to come to share this training on dealing with change, because I know for those of us who are sensitive, and for all of us, but particularly if you're sensitive, change can have a dramatic and long-lasting impact on how you live your life. And so here we are. So the purpose of the training is to talk about and to deal differently with the changes that have come about as a result of this pandemic. We're living in a massively different place than we were just a few months ago, we don't know when this is going to end. We don't know how. The changes are. We're finding little bits of information, but we don't know how this is going to end, how it's going to play out, and it's going to have a massive impact for a long time to come. And so in terms of this, the training, so what I'm going to take you through is a process that will help you to first of all, what I'm going to ask you to do is to acknowledge what you're feeling right now. So you've come on this session for a reason, and I would like to. So you've obviously got something that you'd like to change, and what I'd love you to do is to type in to the chat box and tell me how you are feeling right now. What prompted you to come on this call, and the thing that you would like to so you're obviously feeling something. Maybe it's something uncomfortable about about the changes that have happened in recent months and going forward. So tell me how you feel about that, and the thing that you would like to change about what you're feeling. So if I can have a look at the chat box, and I will not use any names. So wary and cautious. Reassessing my certainties. I need to reassess my certainties. Feeling suffocated. The need to breathe. Yeah. Nervous and overwhelmed. Yeah. So happy in my isolated bubble, but worrying about how to integrate again. How to provide practical support or guidance to my family on what's ahead. Yeah. So all of those things. Yeah, so that's difficult. So nervous about going back out to the new normal. Yeah. So it's been safe where we are, safe in this kind of interim period, but going back, yeah, is challenging. Same, safe at home, very wary of lockdown easing. Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know if that's everyone who's typed something in. So what I want to, there's another one, fear of the unknown. Feeling safe at home, but want to get back to work to support pupils in schools. Yeah. Yeah. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn off the chat, or just close it for now. And what I want you to do, so this is the sort of relaxing part of this process. I want to, yeah, invite you to get comfortable, because I want to take you on a bit of a journey, and I want to make it safe for you, to give yourself permission to come on this journey with me. So I invite you to take a few deep breaths and to close your eyes if that's comfortable for you. I'm just going to do a little bit of a relaxation before we start. I want you to focus on feeling your feet on the ground and imagining, so you've got your toes and your heels in contact with the ground. I want you to imagine that there are roots coming out of your feet, and they're very deep roots going down about 3 meters down into the earth from all directions. So really anchoring you solidly into the ground, into the earth. And you're feeling very supported. And feeling that connection through your ankles and up through your calves to your knees. Still feeling supported and anchored into the ground. And breathing deeply. And noticing your hips connected into your legs and calves and down into the ground, solidly anchored. Feeling very safe and supported here. And still in this relaxed place, I invite you to think about how you would rather be feeling So you've described how you're feeling right now, so anxious, overwhelmed, cautious about going out to this new normal. How would you rather be feeling? What would you prefer to be feeling? Just take a few moments to imagine, to feel what you'd rather have instead. And when you found something, a resource that you'd rather have, I'm going to lead you through an exercise where you can find that inside of you. And I don't need to know what that is. I just need you to hold that in your head as something you want to have, something you want to feel, so that you can move towards it. And give yourself permission to have that as a possibility. And now, still feeling relaxed and anchored into the ground, I invite you to remember a time when you had that resource, you had that feeling, a time when you felt that way that you'd like to feel. It could have been at any point in your life. Somewhere you'll have a memory of a time when you felt that way. And when you found a memory that closely reminds you of that feeling that you want, I'm going to ask you a series of detailed questions to enable you to experience that memory much more powerfully. And even if it feels a bit silly, I invite you to give yourself permission to go with it. So when you're ready, and you might want to keep your eyes closed for this, it's up to you. So with that memory in mind, I want you to pay close attention to the detail of what you see. What's around you? Who do you see? If there are people, what are they doing? And what are you doing? And are you looking at that picture from outside of you like a movie? Or are you in the picture and seeing it through your own eyes? And is it a big picture or a small picture? Are you seeing it close up or is it far away? Is it in front of you or behind you? And is that picture in colour or black and white? And if it's in colour, are there bright shades or are there pastel colours? And what shapes do you see in that image? And how much light is there? Is it bright or dim lighting? If it's an outside scene, is it bright sunshine or is it a bit cloudy? And if it's an inside scene, Is that lighting bright or dim? Or is it even dark? And still reliving that memory, now I want you to focus on what you can hear. So what sounds do you hear? Are they loud or quiet? And what's the tempo like? Is it fast or slow? And what's the pitch like? Is it low and deep, or is it shrill? And what's the quality of that sound? If there are voices, is it one person or lots of people? And is it voices, or is it the sound being made from something else? Maybe musical instruments or something in nature. And notice where that sound is coming from. Is it coming from one direction, or is it in stereo? And are there sounds coming from outside of you, or are they from inside of you as well? Maybe you hear a vibration or a gentle humming. And is the sound coming at regular intervals, or is it sporadic or continuous? And now I'm going to ask you to focus on what you're feeling in detail. What do you feel inside your body? Are there any shapes you feel inside? Is it two-dimensional or a three-dimensional shape? Is the shape heavy or light? And is it inside or outside your body? Is it in one location, or does it spread to cover several parts of your body? Does it have a texture, or is it smooth? Is it tangible and firm, or is it like a mist or a gas? And what colour is that shape? Do you notice any temperature? Is it hot or cold or warm? And does the shape have a sound or a vibration? Is there any movement there? Is it moving clockwise or anti-clockwise? Is it moving fast or slowly? And now that you've got a clear sense of what you're seeing, hearing, and feeling, I now invite you to turn up the dial on all of that so that you're experiencing it much more powerfully. So when you turn up that dial, notice how you feel now. Now I want you to anchor that experience. So focusing on your feet, feeling that feeling in your toes and your heels as they're in contact with the floor. And that anchors that feeling so that when you want to feel differently, pay attention to your toes and your heels on the floor, and that will bring that feeling into your awareness again. And you can repeat this process in lots of different situations, anytime you'd like to feel differently. So I just want you to, yeah, just enjoy that feeling for a moment. And then if you'd be willing, I invite you to write in the chat box how that was for you. And we can also, so that's the end of that process. You can repeat that for a different feeling or different experience, something you want to change. And that is how, just to kind of round this off, that's how you can deal with the changes that are happening and will continue to happen. So noticing that how you feel that you'd rather not feel, imagining what is the opposite of that, something that you would rather feel instead, and then going through this process to enable you to tap into a memory of when you had that, when you felt that. Because the remarkable thing is that I've noticed is that if you can name a feeling, then you already have that inside you. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to conceptualize what that is. So if you've got it as a thing, as a word, as a concept, then you have it within you and you can bring it out using these tools. So that's the end of the process. I don't know if you want to stop the recording, Ina.